On this episode of Goofing Off,
we drop by Akron Film and Pixel to test out the Oculus Rift.
Our movie snobs see if the book was better than the movie when they go see Ender's Game.
And we head up north to the first ever Cleveland Comic Con. Welcome to another episode of Goofing Off. I'm Zach Kuzmic.
And I'm Leanne Andriani.
Leanne, you're looking well rested today.
That's what happens when you actually send me to cover a convention close to home. Getting up at dawn to drive across the state was not working for me.
This was the first ever Cleveland Comic Con. Trust me, if we didn't have to drive hundreds of miles to these conventions, we wouldn't.
Well, despite this con just getting off the ground, I was still able to catch up with some amazing guests. Let's take a look.
I'm Batman.
Well, I loved Batman my entire life, and when I got my chance to write him, I wanted to write the best possible thing that I could possibly write. So it became, they called it the definitive Batman from the beginning, and the first movie, the one with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, was based on it. I, in fact, worked on it to some extent.
What was your favorite part about working on the movie?
When I got into comics, I realized that all these people that I thought were idols were just people.
I like them already.
But the first time I was really involved in Hollywood, I'm like, it's Hollywood,
A little bit starstruck?
Yeah. Writers have to sit alone in a room in order to do their work, and I figured if I was going to do that, I better like what I was doing. So everybody that I wrote, I found a way to get to be my favorite at the time.
Do you have a favorite comic that you have written?
My favorite series would have to be Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. It's a teen romance comic that stars Mary Jane Watson, and Spider-Man and Peter Parker are both supporting characters in the cast, and since she doesn't know that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same person, we treat them as separate characters. And that was a lot of fun to write because it was a teen ensemble, teen romance, which is stuff that I really enjoy writing.
Fasten your seatbelts.
So you've dabbled in a lot in the entertainment business. What would you say has been your favorite experience?
My favorite experience was actually when I got to meet Stan Lee.
Enough said.
I had him sign a hardcover of Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane, and as he's signing it, I said, I just wanted to thank you. That's a book that I wrote, and it's because of you. And he just kind of looked up, and he's like, you wrote this? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, oh, well, that's really great. And he shook my hand and stuff, and I'm like, afterwards I was hyperventilating and called my parents.
I've been doing Star Wars art for Lucasfilm since 1995, 96.
And what types of art have you been doing for them?
I do a lot of artwork for like trading cards, posters, book illustrations. Let's see, just about everything. I've done some comic books for Star Wars in the past.
Do you have a favorite Star Wars character to draw?
Yeah, Darth Vader, because I'm a comic book artist, so my style is very graphic. It's very bold, like black and, lots of shadows. And Darth Vader's costume kind of suits my style really well. For me, as a comic book artist, just sort of going to conventions and being a part of all this big explosion of geek culture that I've loved my whole life, and now getting to share it with fans and friends, I think that's probably one of my favorite aspects, besides getting paid to do what I love.
No wonder you were so giddy when you got back from Cleveland. Tim Burton's Batman is one of your favorite movies.
It's amazing how many more people want to actually talk to us when we don't look tired and angry.
If that's the case, then our next episode's coverage of the Akron Comic Con should be the best yet.
Oh, I'm sure you'll come up with some way to make us all mad at you before the next shoot. But for now, let's see what Casey has in store for us on this edition of Games on a Budget.
Casey here with Games on a Budget. In today's world of downloadable content, microtransactions, and having to pay for full versions of games after you've already bought them, what happens when DLC goes too far? You get DLC Quest. In DLC Quest, you're off to save a princess in a 2D platformer where you'll actually be spending most of your time looking for coins to buy all the DLCs you'll need, not only to advance in the game, but for all the bare basic stuff as well. You want to be able to walk left? That'll be $5. You want your character to actually animate? That's another $5. What's that? You want to pause the game? What's that? You want to be able to pause the game? That'll be $10. Pay up, motherfucker! In all seriousness, DLC Quest is a fun little game with some nice humor and strategy involved, as well as a nice, not so subtle commentary on how DLC and microtransactions are both helping and hurting the video game industry. At least the only real money you'll spend on DLC Quest is for the game itself. You can pick it up on Steam for just about $3. That's this week's Games on the Budget. I'm Casey Church. Game.
So it's finally November. Do you know what that means?
You only have 2 more months to pick me out a Christmas present?
Don't be ridiculous. The PS4 and Xbox One come out this month.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna spend money on those instead of buying me a Christmas present?
No, it's not like that. I can only afford one, so I went on campus to find out which one is better.
PS4, Xbox One come out this month. What are you looking forward to out of those two?
PS4.
Personally, I'm looking forward to neither of them.
I'd look at the specs. Looks like it's going to have a little more horsepower.
The PS4 and Xbox One are just giant ego flames.
You want to know?
Yeah.
Come on. You got new Infamous.
So no Xbox 4, no PS1. What are you going to do?
PC.
PC.
PC's the way to go.
Assassin's Creed 4.
Okay.
PCs
All right.
are always the way to go.
You got a War. You got a ton of stuff, man.
I just played Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. But me and all my 12-year-old friends want to get the new Call of Duty game on Xbox.
It's also out for PC.
Obviously, these people have no idea what they're talking about. I'm the one with the correct opinion, and no one can match me. And
hold on, Macho Man. Let people have their own opinions. You're being way too argumentative. Actually, I'm taking this over. Excuse me. So, as you know, Xbox One, PS4 is coming out this month. Which one are you looking forward to?
I'm actually looking forward to the new Sega console Dreamcast coming out. I heard it's going to be really awesome. First online console. Do you imagine how beautiful that's going to be?
Neither. The PC. If you think about it in a logical sense, how much money do you think college students have? We're broke.
I prefer the PS4.
So the first one, we'll be able to play from people across the country. I mean, this is amazing.
You're forgetting the best part of the Xbox One.
What?
Connect.
Connect? Who wants to exercise when they're playing video games?
Seriously?
Video games is sitting on the couch being lazy and being like, yeah, I just got a kill streak.
It connects with your body in front of the console, in front of the TV. It's amazing.
Oh no! But it's like, it's like you can't even keep a straight face with that. It's like, it's so angry for me. It's so bad.
After the break, Rewind takes a new look at Metal Gear Solid.
Our movie snobs see Ender's Game.
And later in the show, we visit Akron Film and Pixel.
We'll be right back.
Like what you see here on Goofing Off? Then like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Crazy for Instagram? Send us a picture of you watching Goofing Off and we'll put you in the next show. Retweet us and you might win a chance to be on Goofing Off.
Wanted to take a fantasy character and really set it.
To see our full
in
interviews
America.
with the guests at Cleveland Comic Con, check out our YouTube page.
Emma Watson? No, she didn't.
Welcome back to Goofing Off. All right, let's get this over with.
Get what over with?
Aren't you going to talk about Chris?
I wasn't going to.
Are you kidding me? I actually set time aside in the show for this.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to prove to you that your story doesn't make any sense.
Try me.
Okay, well, you said Chris is the only one who got sucked into the game, but Casey, Caleb, Jamie, and Danny all made appearances.
They're just copies.
Copies?
Remember our first meeting?
Blah, blah, blah.
I'm a great producer.
Yeah, we know that part. Get to the point.
Basically, something happened when the lights went out.
Well, duh. What do you mean?
I mean, everyone in the room got copied.
Aha! I knew you'd say something like that. Caleb wasn't even in that meeting.
Actually, I was just late. I was walking in when it all happened.
Caleb, did you actually scream like a little girl? Do I have to take your man card away?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So everyone in the room was copied, except for me, of course.
Except for you. What are you, special?
Of course I'm special, but no, I didn't get copied because I was unconscious. Instead, a psychic link was created between Chris and me, and now I can see what's going on in the game.
That's just weird.
No, the weird thing is what's happening to Tyler.
Wait, what's happening to Tyler? The real Tyler?
No, Tycho.
Tycho?
It's short for Tyler Copied. Anyways, something happened to him last week when Chris hit him with a crowbar.
Chris, I'm glad you're here. We gotta...
All right, time's up.
But I was just getting to
Nope,
the good
we're
part.
moving on to the Goofing Off Rewind.
Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection is the 25th anniversary of all the main series Metal Gear games. It starts with Metal Gear, where Solid Snake must infiltrate Zanzibar Land. Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, has him fight the infamous Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid thickens the plot by adding his brother, Liquid Snake.
In charge of them, Foxhound Squad Leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, introduces Raiden. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, rewinds to the Cold War and follows Big Boss, Snake's predecessor. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker takes place 6 years later, with Big Boss trying to prevent a second Cuban Missile Crisis. Finally, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, fast forwards into the future with an old and graying Solid Snake.
War has changed.
There are also some virtual reality missions for stealth practice, and a few animated comic books.
They've presented Washington with a single demand, and if it isn't met, they'll launch nuclear ordnance. They gave us 24 hours to comply.
This game is a great value buy, with 8 games for just $40. It's a must-have for any Metal Gear fan. My favorite part is that you're rewarded for non-lethal play styles. The downsides, though, are that the classic games have higher difficulties, and the plot can be very confusing at times. Overall, this gets 4 nerds out of 5.
Did you say nerd?
Not nerd, node.
Oh.
So Zach, did you get any editing done this weekend? Every time I saw you, you were reading Ender's Game.
Yeah, you see, once I found out they were making a movie version with Harrison Ford, I kinda gave up. The same thing happened when the Harry Potter movies caught up with me where I was in the books.
Where were you? Book 5, 6?
More like halfway through book 1.
Okay, I'm afraid to ask, but how far were you in Ender's Game when you stopped?
18 pages.
It's astounding how uncultured you are sometimes. Let's just see what Danny and Troy thought of Ender's Game.
Hi, I'm Danny Mars.
And I'm Troy Calipa.
On this edition of Movie Snobs, we went to see Ender's Game.
They know our strategies. They've learned our weaknesses. And the alien attack nearly destroyed us.
The movie is placed in the future after a hostile alien race attacks Earth for its water. Thanks to the famous heroism of International Fleet Commander Mazer Rackham, all living species would have been robbed of their home.
70 years later, the international military had their suspicions of another attack. To prepare for the invasion, Colonel Hiram Graff set out to find the next hero of Earth, Ender Wiggin. A very modest but bright young commander is chosen to join the elite. Taken away from his beloved sister and terrifying brother, Ender is brought to battle school and is eventually ordained to be the military's next great hope.
We need minds like yours, Ender. You'll be the finest commander we've ever trained.
So I'm not the first?
No.
We don't want to give too much of the movie away because it has an incredible twist at the end.
For fans of the book like me, the movie moves too fast, but is true to the ethos of Orson Scott Card's original novel. However, it's still worth the price of admission.
And for people who have never even heard of the book, it's still an awesome movie to see. The visuals are amazing, but the child actors are kind of annoying.
That's because they're all smarter than you, Danny.
Only at war and rocket science. Plus, people in the future wear dumb outfits anyway.
That's true. Why does Zero G always require a fully loaded wrestling singlet? But at least it's not the 1980s and they didn't have shoulder pads like the Flash Gordon villain.
Speaking of villains, why did Ender become friends with the enemy at the end?
I thought you didn't want to give away the twist of this movie.
Oh, sorry.
You will be remembered as a hero.
Now!
You know, the blender is turning out to be one of my favorite parts of the show.
I'll admit, watching Caleb turn red as he breathlessly reads those stories has a certain charm to it.
And watching him collapse afterwards has a certain hilarity to it.
Let's put 60 seconds on the clock and toss it over to Caleb with this edition of The Blender.
BioShock Infinite's first DLC is coming out later this week. Burial at Sea takes you back to Rapture on the day before the city starts to fall apart. Burial at Sea will be out on November 12th. The last of the remaining blockbusters in the US will be closing down early next year. Roughly 300 locations remain, but will be shutting down in 2014. If you aren't getting Sony's PS4 anytime soon, don't worry. Sony plans on releasing 300 more PlayStation 3 titles this Christmas, despite the fact that the PlayStation 4 releases on November 15th. Everyone prepare your wallets. Details of Steam's autumn sale were allegedly leaked earlier this week. The event should be taking place from November 27th through December 3rd. Speaking of Steam, Valve has given everyone the first look at its console killer, the Steam Machine. 300 lucky recipients will be receiving this machine for beta testing. The Steam Machine is set to release sometime in 2014. And that's this week's news, blended and ready for consumption.
Stick with us because after the break we visit Akron Film and Pixel.
And we give our review of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. I've been so excited for Assassin's Creed 4 to come out. The pirate life on the high seas is the life for me.
I doubt you have your sea legs yet. Didn't you call in sick last week because you got car sick? Putting you on a boat might not be the best idea. Think of all the rocking and swaying and the waves crashing on the deck.
Oh, Leanne, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Why don't you go lay down while we watch our review of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Ahoy! Welcome to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. This game may look like Pirates of the Caribbean, and you know what? It kind of is. Look at the low-rent Jack Sparrow. And even Harvey Dent made it in. Even though the game is a tad rushed, it's not bad. More climbing and diving into random piles of hay, a lot of jumping and swinging. My favorite part is whaling. The game takes to the high seas much of the time. Not much else to say. It's like Lost meets Battleship. No peg legs or parrots. Isn't much fun. We really didn't need another title so quickly. Imagine another movie where Spider-Man is in high school. The graphics are good, the controls are good. Time for more historical murder. So there, 3 goofs. That's it.
So Leanne, have you heard of the Oculus Rift?
Of course not.
It's this amazing virtual reality system that immerses you in the game like never before. And they have one at Akron Film and Pixel.
So it basically sucks you into the game. No wonder you're so into it. We all know your virtual social life is way more successful than your real one.
Hey, if my friends in real life were as cool as my ones in GTA Online, we wouldn't have this problem.
Let's take a look at what we learned about filmmaking and gaming at Akron Film and Pixel.
Akron Film and Pixel goes back to 2002 in various incarnations. It used to be a student organization at the University of Akron. It was used to be called the Akron Independent Film and Video Festival. We gradually shortened the name and then lengthened the name, and we've ended up at Akron Film and Pixel. We became a incorporated nonprofit in 2007, and at our first festival downtown in 2008.
Yeah, so Akron Film and Pixel Night is kind of the sort of the evolution, I guess, if you will, the condensing of the film festivals.
We showed a group of local short films at the Akron Art Museum, which we called Akron Film and Pixel Night, and then we took it over here to the Summit Art Space where we are right now for a new media exhibit that Dr. Eunsu Kang and her new media students at Folk Hall put on.
It's kind of a celebration of local filmmakers. So it's all local filmmakers, mostly shorts, although they will sometimes do a feature in there.
We were recently awarded a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation. We're very grateful to receive that. It's going to allow us to open a theater in downtown Akron next year, early 2014.
When the opportunity to design the theater came around, I met with another friend of mine, Mary O'Connor, who's an architect. We kind of got together and teamed up So I've been working a lot with sort of the interior design of the space.
We're interested in video games as culture and art, so more and more we try to feature innovative games that perhaps are saying something or doing something that people are not used to in mainstream games.
Because it is Akron Film and Pixel, so most of what we do is film related, but we do like to do a lot of kind of interactive media stuff.
There's this company founded by Palmer Luckey called Oculus VR, and their first product is the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset. The technology is at a point, thanks to the gyroscopes and accelerometers that you find in mobile technology, that he was able to piece together a virtual reality headset for a low cost that they're going to be releasing as a consumer product next year. So we showed that off at Akron Film and Pixel Night here at the Summit Art Space. I think in 10 years, games will be accepted as culture. Right now there's a social stigma to it. I think that will be eroded in 10 years, so I would love to see our city as a forerunner on that culture shift.
And now it's time for our top 5.
This week we list our top 5 comic book movies.
Starting us off at number 5 is Superman the movie. Christopher Reeve paved the way for the way superhero movies are supposed to be made.
Next, we have Iron Man. Tony Stark showed us that anyone can be a superhero if you have enough money.
Coming in at number 3 is The Avengers. Years of hype almost never pays off, but The Avengers proved us wrong.
At number 2, we have Daredevil. The movie launched Ben Affleck's superhero career. Can't wait till 2015.
And our number 1 comic book movie is The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger showed us that the villains can steal the show in this masterfully done movie.
If you can't get enough Goofing Off, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Crazy for Instagram? Send us a picture of you watching Goofing Off, and we'll put you in the next show. Retweet us, and you might even win a chance to be on Goofing Off. Next time on the show, we go back to Akron Comic Con.
The wait is finally over. We give our full coverage of the PS4 launch.
And we take a trip to a toy store to have some fun.
Until next time, I'm Zach Kuzmic.
And I'm Leanne Andriani.
And thank you for taking the time to goof off with us.
I don't need the face of Zachary Kuzmic to get me in place.
You already have enough distractions.
Mazer Rackham.
There you go.
What, do you want to do this for me?
All right.
I have a big head.
Thanks, Caleb.
How much do you got?
Mazer Rackham.
I'm going to screw up this till I get a Zach.
No. You smell good, Zach.
You are the best part of it.
Did you know that T-Rex's teeth are as long as a pencil? I totally do. So Troy, describe to me what Silver Surfer is, since I don't know.
Silver Surfer is a servant of the Lord Colossus, the World Eater.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.